segment on Bigfoot. So we are looking forward to that. We are going to stay at a casino in Cripple Creek, even though we don't gamble. So that will be interesting, but we're going to have a fun weekend, get away from all the trouble that's going on at home. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's crazy. So we are going, and we're also going on a Bigfoot Quest on Saturday night. So we will have an interesting adventure. All right, we will see what happens. So we ate dinner at the Victor Hotel, which is 4 miles from Cripple Creek. And this hotel supposedly is haunted. So if you're into ghosts or anything like that, this is the place to be. Pretty good dinner though. And Sam is very scared of this elevator. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Whoops, you put your finger in front of it. Too much reflection. Okay, so we just got out of the hotel where we had dinner, and it is so foggy. My goodness, that looks creepy. And we are driving back to Cripple Creek in this. Who knows what we will see? But this is the hotel. It's a pretty, not too much going on here, but we like coming up here every once in a while. So we're gonna go back to the hotel. Oh, the other funny thing about it is that we could tell there were other people there that were going to this paranormal conference, because we heard words like orbs and all sorts of things. So UFOs, yeah, and I heard it from the other table too, paranormal. So we are surrounded by people of like mind. It's kind of fun. All right, well, it's kind of chilly, and we are gonna go back. I might go into the pool or the jacuzzi, I'm not sure. So we will see what happens. So we're driving back, and I'm breathing too hard, but it is really foggy. I think I'll keep this on, but I just saw a giant rooster. Yes, it was a statue though. So it is definitely one of those weird, foggy, creepy nights, and you come from a place like Victor, where that hotel is reported to be haunted, and it does make for some imagination. Mines, that's another. I was hearing some story. No, in the BFRO reports, I was reading about a sighting north of here. This guy was in charge of a mine, and he saw a Bigfoot. Creeped him out really badly. He was like 22, and he never cried. His nephew was there, and he never saw him cry before or since. But he was really freaked out. So that's interesting. Anyway, here Bigfoot, here Bigfoot. And then we joked about going to the cemetery. That would really be creepy. Perfect. Perfect weather to go to a cemetery. But it is cold. And we're going hiking tomorrow night, and it's supposed to rain at least until 6 or something. The weather is pretty crazy right now, but that's May for you. for the circumstances that we have been facing. So yeah, whatever. At this point, I'm like, bring it on. It can't be any more scary than our lives at this moment. And there is the big mine. I was even going to try something new tonight and have red chili that had elk sausage in it, but they didn't have any left. So I just had a patty melt. So Sam is really doing it. He's going into this cemetery.
Just drive up and
down. There's probably a lot of old timers here. It says one way, do not enter. Okay. Oh, it's not that particularly scary, but a lot of sightings around cemeteries, from what I understand. Is the question. Oh, it probably goes in a circle.
Oh,
what?
It's right next to the woods too.
I know. That's why this place would be a very likely place to have an encounter. Sobering, but you know, not many people get off the planet without dying. It's just the way it is. But I bet you there's a lot of history here. Yeah, Abe Lincoln, that's what it says. Used to live next to a cemetery and we go walking there all the time. Well, there was that tour of that place. I'm sure that would be an ideal place for an encounter, or not so ideal, however you want to see it. Okay, so we're gonna look for the high school where the conference is going to be, and then we will go back to the hotel. Okay, so we are back from the afternoon part of the conference, and where we heard Jim Myers speak. He and his wife Daphne own the Sasquatch Outpost in Bailey, Colorado. I also recommend that you go to his podcast, and that is the Sasquatch Outpost podcast. So anyway, he's a really great speaker, and he's become a friend, and really enjoy spending time talking to him and his wife Daphne. So, oh, and yes, I bought this t-shirt and the matching sweatshirt from the Sasquatch Outpost. But, so here's the deal. We're supposed to go on a Bigfoot Quest tonight at Scagway, which is like 30 minutes southwest of here. And look at the rain. So I don't know what's going to go on, but we will see. I'm all ready. Sam has been taking a nap, but I decided let's get all ready to go and go out to dinner and then meet up with them when we're supposed to meet up with them. So we will see. I mean, my gosh, the one time I'm going to go on a Bigfoot Quest with somebody who is a quote-unquote professional, it rains. Anyway, so we'll see what this adventure entails, if anything. Who knows? Maybe we'll come back to our hotel and I'll go swimming instead. Okay, well, as usual, we will see what we see, or we'll see. Okay, so it's Sunday morning and we've been rather busy, so I haven't made a new recording, but let's see what happens. So we met the crew last night, and there were about, 11, 12 of us? And then there were the people running the show, and so we met at the school where they had the conference, and we drove about 30 minutes to a place called Scagway Reservoir. And if you look, I have some pictures of it. But anyway, we went by the reservoir and went down this very long road and went across this trail, and we were doing calls. Everybody was doing calls and all of this through that, and then I gave my call, my ooh, and like resonated quite well. And the leader of it, who is, I'll put his name below because I'm so tired right now, I'm forgetting names. I mean, his name is Dave, and he's from Nashville. But anyway, he's been a Bigfoot monster hunter for 30 years. But Dave was impressed with my call, and I told him how I came up with that call because I heard it at Lost Creek Wilderness when I was sleeping, and then I was in this awake, not awake state, and I'm like, was that a dream? Was it not a dream? And then I know I fell asleep and I dreamt about a Yeti. So I told him about that story, and he said, yeah, you really heard a Bigfoot. So interesting. But anyway, so Sam wanted to go further, but the bus driver had to be back. We went in a shuttle. So it was fun. It was fun to be around others that were interested and passionate about the topic. That's not something you run into every day, of course. So and then of course we had to go back up that big hill, and that made me very sore. So we went back to our hotel and we went right to bed and I got a good night's sleep. I don't know about Sam. I think he did. But then we got up and we had breakfast at a food truck and went to a talk by Dave, and he talked about these pagodas that he's seen outside of Nashville in a state park. And by the way, we're going to Victor. We're going on a loop here during lunch, since we don't want to go to a restaurant. We are sick of eating out. Anyway, so it was a great time. So this morning we heard this talk by Dave about some sights in Nashville and some experiences he's had outside of Nashville, and these pagodas that were weaved, and I heard a lot about Sasquatches braiding horses and all this other stuff. So that was the most interesting thing that happened today. And like I said, we are driving around a loop. We're gonna head back to Cripple Creek, and then we're gonna go hear Nelson speak. And Nelson, he is a linguist, and years ago his son had an assignment and he decided to do his paper on Bigfoot, and they started studying the Sierra sounds. And Nelson, he heard it, and he was an expert in like breaking codes and stuff for the military, and he heard it and he studied it in detail, and his expert opinion is that it is actually a language. There's phonemes, all sorts of stuff, and that fascinates me. That's one of the most fascinating aspects of Bigfoot to me, because I could have been a linguist. Back in college, I had a class in linguistics, and I was doing a paper on Bible translation actually, and a guy from one of the Bible translator organizations, I interviewed him, and he talked to me, and he wanted me to go to a Bible translation school and become a Bible translator. And I thought about it, but it just, I don't know, something about it, I wasn't interested. But anyway, but linguist, that's always fascinated me, because I also am a huge Tolkien fan, and you know, I created my own world like Tolkien, and I created a couple of languages, so that was something that always fascinated me. So the whole Bigfoot thing, language, fascinates me. And now, as you may have seen in my other videos, I am writing a novel about a junior Sasquatch and a teen who become friends, and they have this whole series of adventures, and I am trying to figure out how I can write their language down, and it is difficult. So if I get the boldness, I don't know if I will, but I'd love to ask this Nelson guy, how can I do that? So anyway, now we're heading back to 67, and we're going to listen to Nelson, and then we're going to go home. So that is what's going on. This has been a very informative, fun time, therapeutic, because there was just so much going on at home, just going through the struggle. But doing something like this, we had to break away in faith that it was all going to work out, and I'm still going in faith that it will continue to work out. But it's really helped my frame of mind, my confidence, and that's probably one of the number one things about this whole journey I've been on with Bigfooting, is that it's helped my confidence. Wouldn't you say that, Sam? Yeah, he's nodding his head. Because before I was timid, and then of course I was in worse shape. I couldn't even get off a couch without help. So now I was happy that I could keep up with that group, even though I had to really breathe hard on the way up that hill. So if nothing else, if I never see a Sasquatch, you know, it's getting me outside. We're spending time together as a family, and I'm meeting interesting people, and I'm getting in better shape, gaining confidence. So good, and hope you've enjoyed going along with me on these journeys. So I will catch up with you again after the whole Nelson talk. All right, we will hear what we will hear. R.Scott Nelson was so worth hearing him speak, and he did a demonstration of the Sierra sounds. He slowed it down. He talked about how he had transcribed it into, let's see if I could get this right, into phonemes and morphemes. Yeah. And how, he showed the difference between the male and female voice, and it was interesting, and great guy, really knowledgeable. Look him up, R.Scott Nelson. Fascinating stuff. He actually created what he called, what was it, PSA? A whole alphabet, a phoneme alphabet of the Sasquatch, no, it was called SPA, Sasquatch language. So I am definitely going to be looking that up, because as I told him, I'm writing a book about an adolescent and a junior Sasquatch who become friends in this wild adventure, and I really, really wanted to have them speak, and I had tried and kind of threw up my hands because I don't have the knowledge or the equipment to be able to slow down that Sierra Sound speech. So that was definitely interesting. It was really interesting to hear about how his son, how Nelson's son inspired him to get into this Bigfoot thing when that was not, I mean, he was I don't even know if he was a skeptic. It was just that he didn't even hardly think about it. He dismissed it entirely until this happened. So, and then how it is really a huge body of evidence to be in favor of the existence of a Sasquatch. And then we had a discussion about how language and culture go hand in hand, and I was thinking that, Sasquatch, Bigfoot, whatever you want to call them, they do have a culture. I mean, if you ever spent time in the woods, as we have, and seen these structures, it's a form of art. I mean, they use their environment, as we heard this one guy, David, talk about this morning. They use the environment to make these structures, and it's amazing. So I would argue they do have a culture. So it doesn't look like ours. So they don't have houses and stuff. So anyway, this was definitely worth it, and I'm excited. I'm glad we did this. Otherwise, I'd probably be sulking at home and depressed and all that. So hopefully, this is going to give me the impetus and the encouragement to keep working hard and overcoming our challenges that we face, because the reason why I got into this in the first place was because, or one of the things that fascinated me is that I knew this. We're afraid of the monsters around us, the monsters of our circumstances. But really, what we're most afraid of are the monsters inside of us. Those monsters that tell us that we're not good enough, that it's never going to work, you might as well quit. And I have those monsters in spade. I've been dealing with them since probably before age 11. And so doing these quote-unquote monster hunts, Bigfoot hunts, I don't really like to call them Bigfoot hunts, but doing this squatching, it has given me confidence, because if I can face my fear out in the woods of some unknown monster out there, and there's much more unknowns than Bigfoot, actually, but I don't want to think about it. But you know, if I could face that, if I could face a mountain and get up a hard, steep hill, then I could face the challenges in my life. And that is one of the main reasons why I love squatching. And that's what I want my book that I'm working on, that's what I want it to be about. That's the theme that it's going to be. So anyway, well, if you get a chance, boy, go to a Bigfoot conference or even a paranormal conference. We're not as interested in the UFOs and the ghosts. That's just not something that interests us. But so we stuck with the Bigfoot subject, which is great. But anyway, it's so worth it to get out, be with people who are interested in what you're interested in. So wonderful. That's all for our Cripple Creek Sasquatch Conference, Paranormal Conference video. I hope you've enjoyed this. Then go look below. I'm going to have links to the speakers and the organizers and so forth, so that you can, you know, learn more yourself and possibly attend next year. So that's all. This is Squatch Mom. Have a squatch-tastic day.